Well, good morning and welcome to September 5th, 2025. It feels like I'm talking to you from the future. Well, if you're listening to this tomorrow, you're listening to it from the past. Anyway, I want to talk briefly about nine. Way back when we had just enjoyed the Beatles very much. We considered at the time we were considering the Beatles sort of uh, the modern equivalent of troubadours. Uh, there were spiritual dimensions to us, as old as Stephen Miller calls us, uh, uh, old white hippies. We should go home and take a nap. I don't think I could dislike him any more, but when he said that, I broke through that. Anyway, there was Revolution Number 9 was one of the cuts on their one of their albums, and in the back it was sort of a sound collage, and in the background there was a voice that just kept looping, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9. And we were, of course, we were listening to it while we were in all sorts of different altered states of consciousness. And but even the sound of the two words together, number 9, is sort of branded right into the middle of our psyches. So when it comes to Kabbalah and tarot and any numerological things, when I think of the number 9, it adds a special little tweak and a special little interest for me. And today's two tarot cards, the two tarot cards that represent September 5th, or the period of time that September 5th is nestled into, is the knight or the king of discs, and the 9 of discs. Now, 9, it has always held a certain fascination for me, even before I was into magic and the occult and such. Somewhere I read in like a Ripley's Believe It or Nots, or one of those, sort of novelty things. It might have even been in my grade school weekly reader or something, that if you any multiple of 9 results in a number that, like 9 times 9 is 81, and 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18, and 1 and 8 is 9. Okay, and there's only one other number that has that quality to it, that mathematical quality, and that's 0. And if I can get a pencil out here. And so 0 and 9, in a sense, have something in common mathematically. And even 9, in a way, is a 0 that is taking off, Or if you want to look at it another way, starting with the tail, number 9 is coming out of something and back into nothing. Either way, involve a 9 in a multiplication operation, or put a 0 in a multiplication operation. It comes out either 0 or 9. And so I always thought, oh, that's kind of cool. There's 9s are magical. And my talk yesterday, concerned the cosmic proctologist and how the tree of life turned from just the beautiful perfection of the 3 triads. And when you try to pull a 10th thing out of those 3 triads, they create that doth, that vacuum in the abyss. Excuse me. So we were talking about that yesterday, and I was saying how cool 9 was. So it was very interesting when I was reading in Crowley's book of Thoth. He talks about the small cards of the tarot, of the lesser arcana. He talks about them in 2 ways. He talks about the all 4 9s in general, a 9 for each suit. And then specifically, he talks about the 4 of Wands, 4 of Cups, 4 of 6, 9 of Discs. And but it's really interesting because a lot of times when I turn to the Book of Thoth to get some information, or what Crowley thought about, say, the 9 of Discs, which is today's card, I'd go to where he talks about the 9 of Discs, and it's okay. It's kind of a general thing, and he describes, where is it? He describes what it looks like and everything else. Okay. And the discs are arranged in an equilateral triangle. Okay. Of 3, apex upwards, close together. I think he's talking about that in the middle. Okay. And surrounded at some distance by a ring of 6 larger discs in the form of a hexagon. Okay, there's 6, 6. Now, in the Book of Thoth, you're not always sure Crowley is describing the card that eventually Harris was allowed to include in the deck. But what I want to share with you this morning is not what he says about the specific, but what he says about the 9 of Discs as part of the 4 9s, or the 4 sets of 9 in each suit as their position in Yesod on the Tree of Life. These cards are attributed to Yesod. After the double excursion into the misfortune, the current returns to the middle pillar. Now, what he's talking about is the misfortune is actually 7 and 8. Okay, because anything that's not quite on the middle pillar, okay, is imbalanced. And when we get that low on the Tree of Life, the imbalance of 7 way over here and way low, and the 8 over here unbalanced and way low, he calls that misfortune. But now we return to 9, which is on the middle pillar, a direct reflection of Tifereth in the sun, which is a direct reflection of one. Okay. Uh, anyway, this Sephira is the seat of the great crystallization of energy, but it takes place very far down the tree, at the apex of the third descending triangle, and a flat triangle at that. Now, I'm not sure what he means by that. There is a little help from low, unbalanced spheres like nets. There is little help from low, unbalanced spheres like Netzach 7 and Hod 8. What saves Yesod 9 is the direct ray from Tifereth. Okay. This Sephira is in the direct line of succession, and each of these cards gives the full impact of the elemental force. Now, the 10s may manifest that force, but the 9s give the full impact of the elemental force involved, but in its most material sense. And this is for all of the 9s. It is of the idea of force, for Yesod is still in Yetzirah, or the mind, the formative world. Zoroaster says the number 9 is sacred and attains the summit of perfection. Zoroaster liked 9. And when we get a little later on, that's what I took my cue when designing tarot ceremonial magic from that line. Egypt and Rome also had 9 major deities. Okay, then he comments on the 9 of Wands, 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords, and I'm going to share with you the 9 of Discs. And Crowley calls it gain. Now, I want to, because he doesn't mention it, see that top triangle of discs. Now, you see sort of stylized faces in each of those. Okay, but those faces are drawn within the symbol of Saturn, there at the top, the symbol of Jupiter, and the symbol of Mars. And in the lower triangle, apex pointing down, you've got the face within the symbol of Venus, face within the symbol of Mercury. It's really hard to see, but a face in the symbol of Luna. So this would be the Saturn representing the supernal triad itself there. And then we've got a Jupiter, which would be Hesed, Mars, Geburah, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. So we see the tree of life here, but we don't see a full-blown representation of the supernal triad. But I bet that's what he was trying to get through with that image right there. Okay, it's very pretty. Okay, it's not so bad. The 9 of discs is called gain. The suit of discs is much too dull to care. Okay, it's gain. Yeah, glad I got gain. It reckons up its winnings. It does not worry about whether anything is won when all is won. This card is ruled by Venus. It purrs with satisfaction of having harvested what is sowed. It rubs its hands and sits at ease. It will be understood from the consideration of the tens that coming up. There is no reaction against satisfaction as there is in the other three suits. One becomes more stolid and feels that, quote, everything is for the best in the best of all possible worlds. So that's how Crowley handled this gain. Okay, it's in Yesod, in the sphere of Asaya, which is the material world, and it is Venus in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Okay. Now, all of that being said, this is what I did for the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. Keeping in mind that Zoroaster thing. I chose to use this diagram. Now, if it looks kind of familiar to you, this is my Ace of Discs. This is my personal pentacle. It's the 4 trees of life, but they're all united and they all share their Kether, or their top Sephira, because everything emanates out of Kether, including all the Kethers, okay? So that cross is formed by the 4 trees of life, all sharing their initial singularity. And so this diagram right there is a close-up of Kether, of my Ace of Pentacles. The 4 trees of life. This would be Kether and the Hokmah Binah, Kether, Hokmah Binah, Kether, Hokmah Binah, Kether, Hokmah Binah, going out. And in a sense, it captures that magic thing that Zoroaster was talking about. Now, the goofy color, okay, is that citron flecked azure, which is the princess scale of colors for 9s. But anyway, I thought I'd just share that with you, and it is today's card. Let's perhaps, maybe we'll try to show what we've got going here. In the Tarot Architect, you are given the opportunity to sort of use the blank image of this as maybe something to start to color in and paint your own tarot deck. But I actually want you to customize your own deck, either start completely from scratch with it or to work on this. Here's what I have to say. Uh, well, Venus rules 10 degrees to 20 degrees Virgo, September 2nd through September 11th. So we've got a little time here. Sephira 9, Yesod on the Asiya tree of life. Considerable increase in fortune. These are just the general divinatory meanings. Reap what you've sown and relax. That's what Crowley, rub your hands and be satisfied. Popularity, good luck, good fortune, good management. Sometimes it actually means inheritance. So as an augury for the time period we're in, it's a pretty damn good card. Here I talk about the coloring of it, but additions or changes. You may wish to replace the discs with your own personal pentacle design. Now, earlier in the book, when we talk about the Ace of Discs, I talk about, what is the pattern for the discs on all of my cards, but it's my personal pentacle. Okay, and I encourage you to figure out, and every magician has to literally create their own magical pentacle that represents in diagram form their view, their understanding, current understanding. It'll grow, but the current understanding of the universe as it is. And in symbolic form, have something where you could actually, if someone asks, well, where would I find a Martian at aardvarks? Where would I find love? Where would I find greed? Where would I find boats, waters? Where would I find politics? Where would I find religion? And you'd be able to point to something in your pentacle that said, well, I would put it right there. Just basically and hermetically, where would I put the planets? Where would I put the zodiac signs? Where would I put the elements? Oh, right there, right there. Okay. You make your own pentacle, okay, and use that as the source of all of your pentacles. There would be the 8 of discs. See, I use the same, my same pentacle for the 8 of discs. Let's see, what else do I have to say? I just described the different panels. But on all the cards, I encourage you to alter them, white them out, and start from scratch. But anyway, today I'm very positive today, even as the world seems to be falling apart, catching on fire, and going to war. I'm going to identify with my 9 of discs today. And to tell you the truth, I encourage you to do the same. Anyway, that's my little talk for today. I hope you have a good weekend coming up. And I send my special encouragement, love, and best wishes to all my friends, especially in the Chicago area, as there may be some unpleasantness around Chicago this weekend, but we'll have to see. I hope not. until tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other, and do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love and it will.